Let's do this! Come on. Now we're getting somewhere.
Hey guys, and welcome to another VOD review. This VOD was sent in by a Reddit user who is currently mid-plat. Let's take a look at his VOD and see if we can give him any advice to help him climb higher. So we've got a Mei and a Pharah as the team comp here, so it should be quite difficult to actually secure some kills. But let's see what happens. Straight off the bat, you can see that Ana's actually focusing on Pharah, which is quite important because she's likely to take a fair bit of damage at the start there. Mei's completely out of position, so there's nothing really that Ana could do to help her. She's quite out of position though now, Ana, as Reinhardt for some reason jumped down, so Ana should have probably moved to hide behind the barrier a bit more, but you can see she adapts there quite quickly. As Ana was damaging her Reinhardt started taking damage. It's important to prioritise your team's healing over getting any damage in so that you won't fall behind as they take heavy damage. Ana should have called that the D.Va was asleep behind so that the whole team could act on it. In this case, the D.Va wakes up and tries to escape. Fortunately, with another sleep dart she's slowed down, but the whole situation could have gone a lot smoother if the team were aware of it in the first place. Now let's take a good look at this, because it's quite important to notice how Ana and Lucio have become the front line for the team. It's a bad idea. They should be backed off as soon as the teammates start falling out of sight. It's a risky play like this that may work now, but as you climb the ranks it won't be rewarding and you will be shut down. Even with Ana's grenade, she's quite a squishy hero, so it's important to avoid giving anyone the opportunity to take you out. At this point the choke is being held way too far forward. It doesn't make sense that Reinhardt uses his ult here, because they'll just respawn so quickly and get back into position that it just wasn't worthwhile. It's good positioning here from Ana, because she's actually avoiding getting too far forward. The team continues to hold the choke a bit too far forward, which causes problems because they can no longer hold the flank routes. And as you can see here, the Genji actually comes behind and ults. Fortunately, there's an excellent sleep here from Ana. Such a shame that the team didn't actually utilise it. If there's any consolation, they used far too many ults anyway, and there was no way that Ana's team would have succeeded. Interestingly enough, this is Reinhardt's fault. He shouldn't have used his ult so aggressively before. If he had it then, he would have been able to shut down their soldier at the very least. On the attempted retake, Ana actually opts to go down the low ground instead of the high ground. This was a mistake as she got charged by the Reinhardt and she wouldn't have had the view that she would have had on the high ground. It's important in situations like this to avoid being targeted. You can have a bigger impact if you stay alive for longer and actually land some grenades and some healing onto the point. Ana actually manages to land a good pick on that Genji. It slows him down as you're going to have to wait for him to make a complete offensive. Another situation here though where Ana is out of position. If you have a look, she's not behind anything. I understand the sleep dart was important, but actually it's basically trading Reinhardt for a sleeping Reinhardt. It's not worth it. As Genji comes in and ults, there's not really a lot that anyone can do. No one's really in a position to shut him down with no hit scan heroes. The healing grenade helps Ana survive for longer, but in the end there's no one there to actually deal with him. The team comp should have probably been changed at this point. You can actually see here that their Reinhardt is trying to contest the point. I don't know if the full team were aware, but standing there and healing Genji slowed it down quite significantly. I don't think Ana would have actually made it back in time, but it's important to follow that up with a bit of momentum if you hope to actually contest. Reinhardt didn't really have a choice there if he wanted to avoid the payload actually arriving to the next part. At this point I would have actually saved my ult for the next fight. It was pretty clear from looking around that there was no chance to win this with everyone so low. After Reinhardt died, it was basically the decider that you wouldn't be able to contest the payload there. There was also an opportunity to actually escape there. It makes a lot more sense for you to try and escape because it prevents ult charge and allows you to get in position for the next fight. Be very careful when challenging a Genji. His deflect will not only kill you but can easily result in a teammate dying. Not only that, we're seeing the same thing here with Ana's focus. She's focusing too much on trying to take out the enemy and not really being aware of what her team are actually doing. Ana has ample time here to actually land the ult on Reinhardt. Unfortunately, Xayah seems to step in the way, but Ana could have jumped or repositioned to actually allow her to hit the Reinhardt. It wasn't necessarily a bad ult because Xayah could still be effective, but in this situation Reinhardt would have been more effective. It would have been a good idea also to call out the guys on top of Truck. It seemed that the team were quite ignorant of them, and actually Ana was left to try and deal with them herself. Again, at a higher level, these people on the truck would have caused more of a problem than they have now, so it's a good habit to get into to ensure that it doesn't happen often. We actually see Ana get caught out by a fire strike here. It's quite important to try and avoid any fire strikes that you possibly can. As we go forward, we can actually see Soldier pop up on the top right. Ana manages to land a pretty successful sleep dart on him and calls it out for her team. That's a really important thing to be doing and it's a great habit to get into. The only problem here is that there isn't really anyone on the team to capitalise on that. Ana takes a hit from another fire strike here though, again something to avoid. Could have been avoided, there was quite reasonable range on that fire strike. Soldier actually didn't get dealt with at all, so he's still free to roam up there and do what he wants. That's just the way it has to be with this team comp, there's nothing you can really do about it. But here you do see that Lucio actually causes quite an issue for Ana. Ana decides that she wants to try and deal with him, which is fair enough in theory because Lucio has a lot of passive healing, but she gets too distracted with him, gets completely turned around, and loses track of what's going on the front line. This can be very dangerous and it does result in the enemy team coming in quite strong and Ana not being in a position to do anything about it. At this point Ana is picked off and they have to get back for one last attempt at contesting the payload. D.Va actually throws her ult in here and it's more of a kind of defensive ult. It keeps the enemy team away, so they're less likely to leave the spawn room if they see that ult sitting there. Usually it wouldn't be that effective. Unfortunately Ana is, well, questionably out of position here. It's more probably from the perspective, it looks like she's comfortably around the corner, but from the ult's line of sight actually she is caught within it. So as we move on to the attacking side, the other team have set a reasonable bar to try and beat. First things first, Ana actually makes a bit of a mistake with her grenade. She throws it far too early, it's completely unnecessary. She does land a very good sleep though, however. The only problem is she's woken up straight away, so I would use voice comms there to make sure that she isn't. There's a better grenade coming in now, useful for the high health heroes like D.Va. It ensures that they don't get nuked down so quickly. The problem is here though, Ana actually kind of gives up on D.Va. She turns to her teammates that are on full health and actually spams into them a little bit. As Soldier gets behind though, it's actually a very good call of Ana to mention that in the team chat. People actually react to that then and something can be done about it instead of him just successfully flanking. Roadhog gets shut down very heavily here. That grenade was excellent, it really stopped him from healing up and then the damage there really made a big difference. The problem is though, Ana doesn't actually turn away and go back. Coming in though, we've actually got a very good sleep dart entry. It's a great way to capitalise on making that push and stop the enemy team from having their full numbers to deal with you. It's a bit of an interesting ult though. I wouldn't actually ult D.Va there. If you take a look at the situation, it doesn't really work. She's not really close to enough people to make good use of it, and it wasn't really necessary at that point. It's an unfortunate miss there on the Reinhardt with the sleep dart, but the consistent damage makes up for it. Although you do then find Ana's further forward than she potentially should be. Again, positioning as Ana is one of those things, if you find yourself too far forward, you could be ignorant to people behind you, people around you that need healing, because you're too busy with your tunnel vision trying to deal with that one guy. It's understandable that you want to do it, but there will be other people that can actually deal with them, and there should be. The grenades, landing those grenades dead in the middle is great though. It does heal your team and it does damage them, so it's perfect to try and land them there as opposed to hit the enemy with them. Just be careful when jumping into the fray, because it doesn't actually take that much for a Reinhardt to squash you, as you can see here. Jumping in like that, it does yield quite a bit of damage for you, and if anyone else was there to capitalise on that, or willing to capitalise on that, you would be dead. It's a nice sleep dart there on Reinhardt. The problem is the team's positioning is actually all off here. Having Ana on the front line means she can't actually pay attention to the fact that Mei is taking damage from the side. Soldiers manage to flank behind to take care of Mei, and from there goes on to capitalise and take care of everyone else. At this point I would be playing Ana on the high ground. She's still close enough to get the damage in if she needs it, but she's got the viewpoint there to make the calls if she needs to, and potentially sleep the soldier and heal up the Mei that was dying. We've got another good entry sleep dart here though. It's great, it's good. Ana's doing a good job here of spotting the opportunities. Unfortunately he was woken up straight away, so it didn't prove that useful. And the thing is here, to consider that you could have put the Roadhog that was ulting to sleep, it does make you think that that would have been a more effective use of the sleep dart. There's a great nano boost on the soldier though. It really does help him clear the point, and to be honest, soldier is probably one of the most consistent heroes to be nano boosting right now. Again though, we're seeing another situation where Ana seems to be on the front line. If you can't see any of the teammates in front of you, then something isn't right. It's followed up with a great nade though, and it is likely to have changed the outlook of the fight there. Just be careful with how close you're actually getting to the enemies. There's a lot of faffing around on the point here though. It should have been shut down and completely shut down. Somehow Soldier manages to bounce around the point, flying all over the place, and then escape. That doesn't really make sense to me, but again, it's not really down to Ana, it's down to the teammates who should be taking care of her. Reinhardt swings, Mei, whatever. At this point, I would start thinking about that next ult combo. Soldier nearly has his ult, as he said in chat, so it's important for Ana to keep an eye on Soldier and make sure he doesn't take too much damage, because if he dies, then you can't use that combo and use your momentum to push forward. Unfortunately, Ana was actually paying attention to their Soldier when her Soldier actually started taking some damage, which made it difficult for her to save him, and in the end he actually died. Ana actually uses her ult here. Unfortunately, it becomes a boostio. But the principle was there, and if it had have landed on someone that could have taken full advantage of it, it would have made a big difference for the fight. This is one of the things with Ana. If you are consistently playing her well, you will build your ult quicker than a lot of other people, which means if you hold on to it and wait for everyone all the time, you're wasting ult, because you could have built another one in the time taken during that game. Again though, Ana risks a lot by getting quite close to the enemy team. It's a little bit too close for comfort really, and it's not personally how close I would be playing, so it's worth considering to drop off slightly there and just play a little bit further back. You'll still likely land the shots, but you won't be within arm's reach of their Reinhardt. A good attempted grenade there by Ana. It didn't quite catch Reinhardt as well as Mercy, but it still had a desired effect, and Reinhardt got frozen in the end anyway. As they start to push forward for the final offensive, it's now Ana's opportunity to try and build as much ult charge as possible. That's why it makes good sense to try and get a little bit of damage off. Even if the enemy is healed up, you're still getting the ult charge you need to actually nano boost someone as you come into the fight. As I said before, you build it quite quickly compared to other people, mainly because of your ability to damage and heal. Is going into the fight, Soldier actually ults quite early. Ana isn't really there to help him capitalise on that. The thing is, it's getting quite late anyway, so she doesn't really have anyone else to ult. So she ults Soldier anyway, which is perfectly fine. I think it's a smart thing to do, because he can still work with that. It still does good damage, it increases his fire rate. It's worthwhile. And it also manages to land quite an important sleep dart on the Bastion there. It does seem that this team that they were playing with wasn't really that aware of a lot of things that were happening, so that Bastion could have easily been set up and cleared off the point there straight away. And with not that much time left to actually attack, it could have been a pretty disastrous end for that game. So, in closing, this Ana player has way above average aim for platinum level, in my opinion. Some great kills and great sleep darts. Overextending and tunnel vision seem to be a bit of an issue though, and that comes with the desire to finish people off and deal with them yourself. That's the main area I'd say to improve, and it should help them progress next season way beyond plat. Thanks for watching guys, I appreciate it.